G'day, my name's Barry. Welcome to the channel. I must say a shout out also at this stage to my grandkids Kai and Miller, and also my new subscriber Gorgie. I hope you get to check this video out at some stage. Anyway, this channel is all about stuff related to retirement, and just recently retirement's kind of come a little bit closer for me. You know, I've been dipping my feet into the waters of retirement. I've for the last few years I've run two businesses, but I've whittled them down to very part-time businesses. But just 3 weeks ago I closed one of those businesses, and that was my career consultancy business, which I've run from Perth in Western Australia since 2012. But prior to that, I was involved in the work back in New Zealand. Since then, since moving to Australia, I've managed it with the help of contractors as well as my younger sister back in New Zealand. But it came to a time when I decided I wasn't going to reapply for the contract, and so I have finished in that work. And so a part of me is quite sad, really, because that was part of my identity. I loved that work. In the bookcase behind me, I probably have 50 books on careers, and I've always had an interest. I've really enjoyed that work. I actually thought that when I retired, I would still keep involved in it. But at this stage, I've got other interests which I want to pursue. And I want to talk about that today, because even though we finish one part of it, that identity as a career practitioner is now finished. So it's time for me to develop an identity in some other aspect of my life. And I've looked at the options. I've got quite a few interests. There is being art or being a creator, and that's something which I've never considered myself to be arty. Ask any of my kids. I've never really got past drawing stick figures. And then what else is there? I'd love to become a bit of an adventurer and get out and explore parts of Australia and possibly parts of the world. Being a student also interests me. There's so much I'd love to learn, and I think for any of us, even though we're retired, it doesn't mean that we can stop learning. What else is there? For me, there is being an entrepreneur. You know, like for most of my life, or for more than half of my life, my working life, I have been involved in some type of business. And I've really enjoyed that. I enjoy the idea part, you know, and building on ideas and that, and even in my ice cream business, I still get enjoyment from that. So yeah, and I have ideas about other businesses which I haven't yet started. Yeah, so that's another option and another identity which I could build on. So I think for all of us, you know, we don't have to look too far before we can identify something which could help fill that void. And I think it's important that we do, you know, because work for many of us, work gives us a reason to get out of bed every morning. It gives us a purpose. And I feel personally that even in retirement, having a purpose is really important. And we may not want the structure that's involved around having a job. We might want to be able to do things when we want to do them and not have to stick to a structure. But I still feel structure is important in some form or another. I think social interactions that we have as part of our work in that is also lost, when we lose that identity or when we retire. And so I think it's important to try and find something or get involved in something which replaces that. Now, I've got 16 grandkids, and I know that I could probably develop my identity as a caregiver and offer more of my time to help support my kids with their broods. And what else is there? I was actually talking to a friend the other day, we were talking about that subject, and a couple of friends, and one of them, she's just recently retired, she's 70, and she's now looking after her grandchild, and she's enjoying it. But she's finding, that at 70 years of age, she hasn't got the energy that she had 20 years ago. And so, and I think maybe she would possibly like to be able to spend a bit more time doing other things with her husband once he retires anyway. So there's all these aspects to that we need to think about when we replace a job with something else. I've thought about it, and I know that there's one part, I guess it's a part, you could call it a part of me, which I want to further develop, and that's my creative side. I've never really been considered creative. I've never considered myself creative. But about 6 or 8 months ago, I went and I did a workshop on watercolour painting. The first time since primary school that I've picked up a paintbrush, and I really quite enjoyed the experience. Look, would I continue with it? Oh, maybe dabbling, but it's there are other forms. I'm glad I did it and I tried it out, but there are other forms of artistic creativity that I would rather spend my time on. Oh, I've actually got a picture. The picture that we drew, there were 12 of us in the class, and that's what I ended up with. I was pretty chuffed with it, really. But yeah, what else? There's something else that I want to try and spend more time at, and that's creating wall art. But my idea is to create wall art which encompasses 3 of my interests. One is family history, another is typography, and the other one is storytelling. And so here's an example of one that I'm currently working on. This is about my grandfather. So it's his name at the top. He was born at a place called Greenslaw in the Torrey Plains in New Zealand. It talks about it's got the name of the ship there somewhere that he went away on to fight in the First World War. It mentions his war medals and his what he worked on, or a couple of the things that he worked on. Yeah, so this is something which I really kind of work on. I want to get this on a piece of wood and frame it, and so I have an interest in pursuing that more. Another interest I have also is hand colouring black and white photos. I've recently bought an old camera, a TLR twin reflex camera, and I've got some I've almost put through my first roll of black and white film, and yeah, I've just always liked the idea of being able to paint my black and white photos. So that's something else that I really kind of want to develop and spend more time on, as well as, of course, my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, which up until now it's been really fairly general. It's about retirement, I guess, and it's about my retirement. But as far as identity goes, I don't think I've developed an identity in this area yet, you know, or a focus. Like I've wondered, you know, whether I should make it a channel about motorcycles. I own a couple of bikes and I enjoy riding them, and that's also another interest that I enjoy in recent years. There's also adventure, you know, should I make it an adventure channel and try and get out on a few more adventures? I don't know, but maybe it'll be a bit of each of these things. But yeah, I just wanted to talk today and talk about all this, and because I think it is important that when we retire, we do something, and we can replace that identity that we had at work with another identity. There's a quote actually I'd like to read out to you, and I don't know who this quote is from, but I liked it when I heard it, and it says, "Retirement is not the end of who we are. It's the invitation to become more fully ourselves." And yeah, so retirement's something to look forward to, and I hope you have enjoyed this or got something from this video. Thanks for tuning in again, and till next time, bye.